Kathy Bates in Dolores Claiborne. Sometimes being a bitch is the only thing you have to hold on to. Sometimes being a bitch is the only way you can get heard.
There ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You got to mind your own.
So turns out my brake issue was not just rust from sitting, and I should have known better. I did know better. The grinding was bad. I have been in this climate before. My brakes never grinded before. I drove 3 hours up to the Adirondacks and back with a grinding brake. Called him on the phone, still didn't want to listen to me. We drove it, we didn't hear it, there's nothing wrong with it, we looked at it. So I had to come in and get mad and say, no, you need to take the damn tire off. So that's what we're doing. So we were talking about this on my Patron and channel member live stream the other night. I was really beating myself up, Sadie girl, because when I brought it back, because they were rubbing, they didn't take the wheel off. They just looked underneath, they looked around, and they were like, oh, you know, it's just rust, little lady. And I was like, are you sure? Because it sure doesn't sound like that. I've been in this climate before, and as I was standing there, I was in the garage with them, I wanted to tell them to take the tire off, and I didn't, to take the wheel off. And so I was beating myself up. Why do I have such a hard time with auto mechanics? Why? And who knows, maybe it's something from my past, I don't know, that just, you know, Sarah put it really well. In the face of people talking down to you and not really respecting your opinion, it can be really hard to stand up to that. And, you know, auto repair is notorious for taking advantage of women and not listening to women. So it can be really hard as a woman to stand up to these very male-dominated industries. And I know some of you women out there, every time I talk about this, I don't have a problem. Well, good for you. You were raised with a strong male probably in your life, or at least a strong mom who taught you it's okay to stand up for yourself. For many of us, it's a learning curve. It's a lifelong process of learning to speak up and stand up for ourselves after we've been beaten down our whole lives by men most of the time. So I'm not saying this to whine. I just want to share my experience with you as a woman alone on the road dealing with this stuff. You have all kinds of challenges and hurdles thrown at you, and not being listened to is one of them. So I came in, I was pretty mad. They took the wheel off. They can't find anything. The caliper looks fine. The rotor's not grooved, which is surprising. They think it might just be bad brake pads. So they're going to warranty out the brake pads and replace the brake pads. But it took him, he drove it and he heard it finally. But so he heard it just pulling it into the back. So this is my experience again with another mechanic. Again, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why I have so many issues. And next I get to deal with the transmission. That's going to be fun. So I guess the moral of my story today and sharing all this with you is to be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. A lot of us who have been raised with abuse and trauma and a lot of the things that many of us have dealt with in our lives, and for a lot of women, we have been taught to not speak up for ourselves. And I'm going to tell you, that's been really evident to me lately, that how and why speaking up for myself has not come naturally to me. And even at 56 years old, I still struggle with standing in my truth, being firm, especially against men. And so I just want to share that with you in full disclosure, because I feel like a lot of times, you know, a lot of you think I'm badass, and a lot of you think that I do things that you can't do. Well, you know, I stumble and fall sometimes too. I beat myself up sometimes too. I crash and burn sometimes too. We all do. It's part of the process. It's part of becoming a powerful, strong individual. Learning from our mistakes, reflecting on our mistakes, looking at my first time at the brake shop, post-brake job, and looking at it and saying, okay, what could I have done differently? And I think, again, I just have to constantly remind myself, because I'm a processor. I don't realize in the moment what I'm doing. Does that make sense? I didn't think in the moment that I was stepping out of myself, that I was wavering in the face of male dominance. I didn't think that in the moment. In the moment, I was like, okay, they said it was fine. They should take off the tire, but you know what? They said it's fine and I want to go. What I need to do from now on is walk away, say, hold on a second, walk away, maybe take a few breaths and come back. Or maybe I just need more practice in order to be able to recognize in the moment and not after I drive away or after the problem occurs again that I felt run over, that I felt dismissed, that I felt unseen and unheard. I have a lifelong history of what I call selling myself out. I didn't know how to stand in my truth. I didn't know who I was enough to stand in my truth. I didn't understand how to be a powerful, strong, outspoken woman, and it's still a work in progress. So my moral is take what you like from my stories, leave the rest. If it doesn't apply to you, it's okay, move on. If it does apply to you, and I know many, many, many women can relate to my stories like this, then hopefully you can learn something from my experience, walk away, stand in your truth, and sometimes you just have to be a bitch to be heard. Plain and simple. Sometimes you just have to be firm. And that comes off as bitchy, but it's not. Those guys kind of didn't know what to do with me after I was like, I kind of just like got out of the truck and they were asking me questions. Well, when does it grind? Is it blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, you know what? Just take the damn wheel off. And they kind of didn't know how to respond to me after that. And you know what? That's okay. If in the beginning we need to be a little bitchy until we learn to find our assertive voice, that's just the process we need to go through. And rather than blame ourselves or each other, like I know I'm going to get a lot of people who are saying that I'm playing the victim again, that it's my fault, that I did something wrong. Why not instead ask these male-dominated industries to treat us equally, to look within, to say, how can we do better? It's no secret that there's been a history of women being taken advantage of in auto repair shops and things like that. So rather than calling me an attention seeker or someone who's just always playing the victim, which is not what this is about at all, I'm only a victim of myself and my history and my past that I'm trying to evolve and grow from. But rather than do that, why don't we say, as men, how can I do better? How can I make sure, especially if I'm in a male-dominated industry, how can I ensure when I'm dealing with a woman that she feels heard and seen? It's not that hard. So that's my thought today. I hope you got something out of this. Leave your stories, leave your comments below. And this is kind of a raw, vulnerable video today. I don't know why I'm feeling particularly vulnerable and raw about it. I think just because it keeps happening and I'm just like, what, but this is life. This is life. And I can go through life angry and mean all the time, or I can do this type of self-reflection and figure out how I can do better next time. And that's my goal. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Happy trails, and I'll see you next time. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. I'll see you soon.
What do you think? I need to be more like Sadie. We need to be more like Sadie.